One big question for the field that I have is particularly around equity, but around computer science education in general. It ties back to a lot of what we've talked around economic concerns and funding, particularly for computer science education. And that specifically that we've seen a lot of funding coming from corporations. I think with a sometimes explicit, sometimes implicit desire to have more people who are capable of programming to become employees at those companies. And I see a conflict of interest there between our civic interests that's happening. This is happening in public schools. And public schools to me are primarily for benefiting the learners and for benefiting our society. And it's not clear to me that having private dollars paying for computer science education is doing either of those things as well as we want it to be. So the question then is, what is a different, hopefully better funding model for computer science education?
Yeah, I've that's something that I've been thinking about for years. I've spoken with other individuals within the field who have worked at like other organizations that I've never been a part of and said things like, "Well, we wanted this to be more equitable, but our funder specifically said no to like an equity lesson or whatever." And in order to appease the funders, like the developers of like whatever it was, like a curriculum or something, have explicitly made things more beneficial for a company at the cost of what is best for students and teachers and society. And that's just so problematic in my opinion. Another layer to consider with this that I've really been sitting with quite a bit is there's a lot of money that goes towards professional development, like a district having to pay for that or even an individual. But there are ways to be able to put that content out there for free on YouTube. And so that's something that I plan on doing over the course of the next year to try and help people who can't afford it or who don't want to buy into whatever it is, the corporate influence that basically bought and paid for a professional development or curriculum or whatever that basically is catered to that corporate need at whatever level, whether it is literally getting rid of equity-related conversations or even less deviant examples similar to that.
Yes, absolutely. And it can be less overt, but just as insidious that, producing a curriculum or a professional development that claims to be focused on equity, but does a really bad job of it.
Yep.
And there are examples of that from prominent organizations.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a challenging set of issues to unpack and work on.